If you are like me and relying on a lot of music mixing and mastering on your headphones, then I'm sorry to tell you, but your headphones are lying to you. Your headphones are not exactly accurately giving the sound like how your tracks are really sounding like. They might have an inbuilt filter, or they might actually bring down the lows or boost the highs in a weird way. If you rely on that for mixing and then you play it on a different speaker systems, it's gonna sound bad. It's gonna sound completely different than what you heard on your headphones. So today we're gonna talk about how really accurate your headphones really are, and we're going to see a way to fix it so that the next time you mix using your headphones, it is going to sound good on any stereo system that you play. Hi, I'm Florina Jain, otherwise known as Flow of Music, and I help artists sound professional through mixing and mastering. And today, let's learn about headphones and how to calibrate them. So let's first understand why headphone accuracy really matters. Now, if you look at my room, it's not soundproof. Because of that, I will not be able to rely on my speakers for mixing because I'll get a completely different sound than what the song really has. So as a result, I rely a lot on my headphones, and I use Shure SRH 440, which is my mixing headphones. Now, since I'm mixing on this, I need to make sure that I hear the sound exactly like how the track is. I shouldn't hear a sound that is filtered, that has a frequency change on my headphones. I need to hear it raw. If this headphones also has an inbuilt different kind of curve than a normal curve, which enables me to listen to the song differently than others. Now, is that going to sound good on other stereo systems? No. It will sound good on this. It may not sound good on another headphones, on another phone or something. That's the reason why if you actually completed mixing and you realize that it sounded good on your headphones, but it sounds terrible on your mobile phone, that is really because your headphones are not accurate. That is the reason why we need to accurately have a headphone level so that it really translates your mixes the right way and not with a filter. So let's talk about something called as Harman curve. We're going to get a little technical right now. So the actual definition of Harman curve is that a target frequency response for headphones that represents the average sound signature most people find pleasing. So that is the waveform that our studio headphones or monitors has to provide us, so that it's going to be perfect when it is played on any stereo system. It's the most pleasant raw format of frequency that we're going to listen to. Now we're going to assess and see whether our headphones is coming up to that Harman curve or what's the deviation from the Harman curve, because that is the pleasing average sound signature most people find pleasing. We're going to see if there is an error factor and see how we're going to tackle that. So we're going to get into a website called Auto EQ. Just type Auto EQ on your search engine and you're going to get this. This is a place where you're going to put your headphones brand name, and it's going to give you the Harman curve and what your headphones curve really is. That's going to be a very interesting thing. So mine is Shure. So let's just put Shure and then SRH 440. Now mine is SRH 440, not A. So I'm going to select that and then just go. There are a lot of things over here, but let's just uncheck everything and only put target. Now this target that you see here is the Harman curve. Okay. Now let's look at what the headphones has. So let's put raw. This is the waveform for my headphones. That's the raw signal. Now you see that there isn't as much of bass as the Harman curve is looking like, and there's a little dip in the high mid area. So we're going to fix this. So before that, if you just scroll down on the left side, you're going to see a target level set as Harman over year 2018. So there are different versions of the Harman curve. If you want, you can choose a different one, but I'm just going to stick to 2018. Now, this is the Harman curve, like I said, and this is my headphones filter that looks like this. I want to rectify this because we need to make sure we're closer to the Harman curve. Only then our mix translates well. So let's see how to do that. Step number 1, on the bottom right corner, you're going to see Select Frequency app. Just select that and you can actually choose any of these frequency apps that you see here. If you are comfortable with something, you can choose. I am going to choose Custom Parametric EQ, and then it's giving me a bunch of things, right? So this is my raw signal on my headphones. Now let's turn that off and let's look at the error. This is my error. Okay, let's turn that off as well. Now I am going to select equalized. Basically, when you choose custom parametric EQ, you're going to get a lot of filter types, frequency, Q factors, and gain that you have to keep on your EQ so that your headphones translates as close as the Harman curve. That's the whole idea of using auto EQ. I'll tell you how to exactly use this. So once you find out that this is the equalized value, just scroll down and then you're going to see this column where it says filter type, frequency, EQ, and gain. And also it says something called as preamp, right? We're going to use this as our guideline and we're going to set our EQ. And let me show you how exactly I do it. So I'm going to get into Logic Pro and I have an EQ open right here. So I'm going to keep all the values exactly like how it says. I have to put a low shelf with a frequency 105. So let's put a dot, change it as low shelf, double click on the frequency and put 105. By the way, you can do this on any EQ plugin that you have. I'm just familiar with Pro Q3, so I want to use Pro Q3. So I put 105 and then my gain is going to be 6.2. So just double click here and put 6.2. And now there's a slight difference between the Q factor you see on Auto EQ and the one you're going to set on Pro Q3 if you use the FabFilter EQ. If you have any other EQ plugin, just put the regular value that it shows on the website. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to subscribe and share this with a music producer friend. If you have a song that you want me to mix and master, send it to the email that you see on the screen. If you use Pro Q3, the Q factor scale that Auto EQ uses is slightly different from what Pro Q3 uses. So for that reason, we're going to do a tiny multiplication. The Q factor that you're going to see on Auto EQ, you're going to multiply it by 1.41 so that it correctly matches with Pro Q3 settings. So here I have Q factor that I need to set to 0.7. So let's take my calculator. So 0.7 into 1.41. Yeah. And then I get 0.987. So let's go and input that. Double click and put 0.987. There you go. So that's our first information. So in that same way, I'm going to show you one more before I just skip that step. So there's peaking, which is nothing but a bell curve. Okay. And I need to choose frequency 67. So another one, double click 67. Oh, I just put something wrong. 67. And then my gain is minus 4.8, minus 4.8. And then my Q factor 0.71. So go and make that conversion. 0.71 into 1.41 equals 1.0011. So let's go and put it over there. Double click and 1.0011, I think. Isn't that what we got? Yeah. So that is the shape I have for the next one. So I'm going to do this quickly and then I'm going to come back and show you how the EQ looks like. So I have applied all these filters and this is how my EQ looks like. So I just want to quickly have a listen to the mix that I was already doing. And one more thing before we finalize on the EQ, you have a preamp set over here as minus 5.4 dB. That is basically the overall EQ because you see we've done some gain increases a lot, right? So finally you need to balance out. So this may not be exactly accurate. So you'll have to like listen and check and basically keep it. So for now, I'm going to keep what it shows me, minus 5.4. So go back to EQ. Bottom right corner is where I have it for Pro Q3. So I just double click and put minus 5.4. Okay, which is going to be my output level. So I just wanted to quickly listen to this. And then I tried this earlier also. So honestly, what I heard even before this was that the bass was a lot more than what I was originally listening to. And that's a huge shocker for me because I've been mixing using these headphones for a lot of years. And to realize that this is not exactly the raw sound. It's really opening a lot of doors and I need to check them constantly so that it sounds good. I always have my mixes that sometimes don't sound good on my phone or on a car speaker, but sounds good on this. So this is where it all lies. This is how you basically set your headphones based on the Harman curve using auto EQ. This is where you keep it. Now, it's important that you tweak and adjust these settings because even though I put it this high, sometimes I might have to bring it down a bit, or especially this volume decreases a lot. So I may not put it this much. I'll probably put only like -3 or something, because for now when I change it before and after, there's not a huge volume decrease really. So it might change based on song as well. So listen to your song, listen to the mix and then change it. Actually, I have two tips. Number one, you can save this as a preset. So just go on top to user default and then let's save this. Don't change the location, okay? I'm just going to rename this as Shure SRH 440 EQ. And then I'm going to save this. So the next time when I open Pro Q3 and I select user default, do you see that? That's the preset we just saved. So I can just toggle that on whenever I want to check the actual raw sound and see if it's like really different or if it's the same. And the second tip is that I use this method on the final stereo out of the track to check my mix. I don't think you need to use this method on each and every individual track. It's just going to take up a lot of time. Do your mixes as usual because you should be familiar with your headphones and how it sounds. But on the stereo out, occasionally turn on that setting that you just kept using auto EQ, see how it sounds, and then make the necessary corrections. So that's how you can actually calibrate any headphones that you use. Just use auto EQ, put your headphones brand into it. Check the Harman curve, check the equalized value using a custom parametric EQ and input the values into the EQ plugin. So I hope you learned something useful from this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in another one.